Are you going to agree? Our freedoms are waning and we'll lose our liberty, slipping one by one until there's nothing left to see. Are you willing to stand with me? Are you just going to let it be? The ranchers are first, but brother, next it may be me. We all stand together or we'll hang separately. Are you going to the tree? Are you willing to be free? It won't get any easier to regain lost liberty. Strange things are happening in this land that once was free. So brother, I ask you, are you going to stand by me?
Okay, in this video, I think I'm going to entitle it, How God Has Prepared Me. Okay, to stand up for what's right, to stand up for truth, you got to expect to be attacked. It's going to happen, period. And I kind of wanted to go through and show some of the ways that I've tried to stand and the way I've been attacked through it. This isn't to make you feel sorry for me. This isn't to make you pity me at all. Like I said, this is the way God has prepared me for what I must do now. Okay, so we'll start in the beginning. When I was taken by health and welfare, I spoke out about it, the abuse. I didn't keep silent. I didn't shut my mouth and just take the least amount of abuse. When it was there, at least when it came to me, sometimes with others, but when it came to me, I would speak out about the abuse. In this, I got labeled a problem child, which means that you go to more abusive foster homes because you're a problem child, so they put you with anybody pretty much. And so that's where the punishment I got for speaking out there. Okay. I also spoke out in the juvenile courts, telling them that stuff wasn't right, that I was actually being abused by the system. They didn't listen. Again, labeled a problem child. Courts wouldn't listen to me because I'm a problem child, and I speak out. I don't look the part for a victim, I guess. And I fought against the courts as an adult. I was tried for buying stolen property, tried as an adult when I was 16, convicted when I was 17 of buying stolen property. They gave me 2.5 to 7 years for that. Okay. And I did a 6-month Cottonwood Rider. Okay, after I got out, the cops, you hear a lot of people talking about it, but it does happen. The cops messed with me. Okay, through actually my probation officer, my mother-in-law, and me learning on how to get out of the system, I was able to fend them off. Basically, I stopped taking plea bargains all the time. I was taught how to, by my probation officer, taught how to deal with a stop because they always wanted to search me. Okay, I was a CNA, so I worked late at night sometimes. So they'd pull me over, find out I'm on probation, and want to search my car. They'd never find anything, but they'd waste an hour of my time, and they'd do it pretty consistently. But I got away from that. But like I said, I stopped taking plea bargains. When they'd pull me over, I'd take it to trial. Most of the time, they'd just throw it out before we even got there. But because they were just bogus charges. Okay, then as a CNA, and that's how I got away from them. But I had to take a beating for quite a while, and I had to get strictly sentenced because I took it to trial. But they left me alone. Okay, then as a CNA, I worked in nursing homes. Okay, I spoke out against patient abuse. I spoke out because a nurse was abusing a patient. Can't go into the details because of confidentiality, but this was the 3rd time this nurse was reported for abusing this same patient. and they took away her ability to pass narcotics, controlled substances, for like 90 days. That's what her consequence was. So I got to, I spoke out, but basically everybody turned against me. They started messing with me every chance they got. So I ended up quitting that, and I couldn't take it anymore. I couldn't keep silent. Okay. Then the banking industry. Okay. My house burnt down to the ground. Demolished it. Insurance, my mortgage company canceled the insurance. Chase Manhattan. Okay. Then we found out that those guys are all over the country. Okay. And they'd canceled our insurance, and that's a whole nother story. But by the end, we ended up losing our place that I'd bought when I believe I was 19 or 20 years old. And it was a trailer house, but it was like a brand new trailer house, and it was put on a foundation. Well, we were able to get, while we were fighting with the mortgage company, we were able to get another house put out there on a foundation. Okay. And this leads into the next. I had to fight the tax assessor because they told me I couldn't move that house because that house's serial numbers was different than the other house that burnt down. And they got mad at me because I didn't tell them that the house burnt down. I didn't know I was supposed to tell the tax assessor, but they got mad at me for that. So I had to basically tell them that I was going to move it. And if they wanted to give me the ticket, they could come Friday. If they wanted to actually do the inspection, they could come Thursday. So they came Thursday. The building department, as a contractor, I fought with them a bit. Most of the time, the building department we do all right with. We get along pretty well because we both just want it to be done right for the most part. Sometimes I've had some battles with them where they're telling me I'm doing something wrong and I know I'm right, so I call in bosses. And actually with that specific incident, that inspector got fired because he was wrong. And he caused a lot of damages because he backed up my concrete. But anyways, so I fought against them and won, okay? Code enforcement, city code enforcement, they didn't like the way my house was because the house was trashed and I ripped out the stuff and it was in the front yard. First letter I got from them, I was cleaning out the front yard. Had it halfway cleaned out because the house, there's rotten floors and stuff in it that I'd cut out. So me and them went rounds. Finally, what they rested on was that I had too many vehicles. I did have a lot of cars, but I've been in construction a long time, and the way I do it is I buy assets when I'm on the rise. Cars are a very good asset, especially when things are going up. People are buying brand new cars, and they're getting rid of their old ones for a song sometimes. So I buy them. Sometimes I got a little problem with them. I fix them. I park them. So that when I go through the downs, either I got another vehicle or I can sell the cars to make ends meet. Okay, anyways, I had 17 at the time. It was just past the bubble. I was starting to go down and was starting to sell the vehicles, but not that many of them. But they all ran. But anyways, they said I had to register them, which was completely wrong. And he lied about people complaining about me. And I put together a witness list of 23 people, including my mailman, to say that my vehicles did run and that they didn't have a problem with my property, that I was beneficial to the neighborhood. Okay, that actually changed city code. Now you can't just anonymously tell on somebody that's against city code. Their weeds are too tall. They got too many cars. You actually have to. They actually have to have someone who's complaining. And another thing, the guy he was kind of terrorizing the whole neighborhood with this stuff, making up false allegations, saying the other neighbors were calling on him. Anyways, that changed policy, and it also made him move because he could no longer go. By the end of it, he could no longer go on my property or any property my name was associated with, because he'd been notified that by the judge in open court that he could not step foot, and neither could any of the code enforcement. So they moved him out of that area and put in a new guy who came back very friendly, and friendly to everybody. So I actually helped the whole neighborhood in that thing. Okay, but I got 7 charges against me during that. I went to court like 10 times over that. Okay, but finally won in the end. They threw out all charges. Okay, Nampa City cops. They have raided parties, the Halloween parties and stuff we've had. I used to have a karaoke business. I had my equipment there. They raided it, saying it was an underage drinking party. They weren't even in their jurisdiction. We called the county sheriff. They came out and told them that this was not city and that they needed to leave. And there was no laws being broken. But I've had it with the county sheriffs too. Right now I'm being charged for a crime, careless driving, where in the insurance is determined that it's the other guy's fault. And everybody except me said that the guy sped up to create the accident. I was clear at one point, but he sped up and got in the way. They're still prosecuting me, and the prosecutor knows this because there's no restitution. So nothing was damaged. That's what they're saying. Okay, so because it was the other guy's fault. He hit my trash trailer. I don't care. I didn't file a claim. I'm not going to file a claim. Even if the guy is dumb, I'm not going to file a claim for a trailer that I paid like $80 for. I mean, if I go down to a body shop, he'd probably charge $300 just to fix it. I'm not that type of guy. And his car was messed up. But anyways, they're charging me with stuff. Okay? And they won't let it go for nothing. I've shown them the facts. They won't let it go. Because I continuously stand. They want to knock me down. And when you stand, they come at you guys. Everybody. They come at you. Okay, CPS. I've been involved in CPS for almost 14 months now. 15 next month. And I'll go more into that in a different video about how I'm taking a stand there even further now. But I've been standing for my family and for other people in the system. People now call me to ask me what they should do when it comes to being investigated by health and welfare. I probably, through God, I have helped at least one person save their family from going into the system, their baby. But mostly my fight's been for my sister's kids that are my family. Okay, I went to the Burns rally. That was my first protest. Official protest, waving a flag. I'd never done that before. Okay, I took my daughter with me to teach her how to stand also. Okay, then I went 2 times to the Harney County Resource Center. I won't go into all the details of what happened up there. If you were up there, you know me. You know what I did, what I didn't do. I don't need to go into that. But I was also at the LaVoy funeral, the meeting and greet in Utah. I keep my bills low. They hate that. I went to refinance a house that I own outright, which is a stick-built house, half an acre, shop. They said they wouldn't give me a loan because I didn't have any loans, even though I own the house outright. I'm not a rich man, by the way. It's just that I buy stuff cheap, and that's how we get by. And I fix things up. I got 6 kids that I'm training, or teaching, I guess I shouldn't say training, teaching to stand up for themselves. So that if I can't win the battle, they can continue it. Okay? Here recently, I'll go into this real quick. I'm getting close on time. Here recently, I went into a house that I managed for my mother-in-law. We thought kids were getting into it. They were stealing stuff, just little stuff for the most part. And we actually found, me and my wife, found some people in there that were grown adults. They were squatting in the house, but they'd been squatting in the house previous to the renter we'd kicked out, and they'd ruined the house. They $20,000 worth of damage to this house, and this isn't a very fancy house. But anyways, they were standing in one of the rooms, and like I said, I'll do it quickly. But I found them, and I was armed. So was my wife. Found him, and it freaked me out. I did have to shoot twice at him. Okay? Not at him. I shot in the floor as warning shots. One time he was messing with stuff on the floor. He was going through stuff. I don't know what he's going through. He said he's going for his cigarettes. I let him do that. Then he started going through a bunch of stuff, and I didn't know what he was doing. I don't know what he's going for, so I shot into the floor in front of him. That got a girl that was in the room that I didn't really think of at the time to get up. She screamed. She got her hands up, put them up against the wall. Anyways, he said he's going to come through me again, charged me once again. I shot at the floor. At first, this really got to me. I'll go into more of the psychology of what I went through with that in the next video. I'm running out of time. But the basic facts is that, he came at me a couple different times. I gave him a couple different warning shots. And it affected me for a few days. That's why I haven't put out videos for a while, is I've been dealing with a lot of stuff. But my time's getting up on this video. I'm going to post one more about how God's preparing me, I think, and then I'm going to go into something else. But, okay, here we go. Bye.